All right, so today we're going to talk about fat kids. We're going to talk about fat kids whose parents want them to be fat kids, which is just about every fat kid you see. Now, if we're asking ourselves, what do we want our kids to be? What's the mission for the kid? If the kid is a project, and I don't mean like Eden Wall projects, I mean like a science project. If a kid's a project, when this project is complete, what does it look like? What does it resemble? What is it going to be? You hear parents bragging about, my kid won, the grappling tournament, he submitted everybody. Congratulations, as a parent, so far you've guided your child to be able to dominate 8-year-olds in battle. Not very impressive. If the mission transcends that, if the mission is more important than making the biggest badass 9-year-old that you could have. I don't mind when you have fat parents who refuse to have fat kids. The reason I don't mind that is because if you are somebody who has a child that you do not want to be better at life than you are, then your head is already off mission. As parents, our job is to make our children better than us. That is how we have progress. That is how we transcend all of these things that everybody wants to complain about every day, about life and about, as if 100 years ago they didn't have it worse than we have it now. This is the land of the fat poor people, right? We can't be doing that bad. Our poor people are fat. We have people who are on public assistance that have diabetes. And what they do is they teach their children those same things. Now, why do they allow children to be fat? Before we get into that, let's talk about what are the benefits or the consequences of a child being fat. Number one, they are socially isolated. They have low self-esteem. When it comes time to start, hanging out with the people on the other side of the gender aisles, they find themselves just as alone as they've been up until that point. Eventually, they start having health problems. What are those health problems? It could be heart conditions. It could be asthma. Obesity-induced asthma amongst children today is at its highest. Type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes was something that only adults got. It's like if you got type 1, it was the kids' diabetes. If you had type 2, it was the old people, adults' diabetes. We now have managed to overcome that challenge as a society. We make children that are diabetic, type 2. Whenever I see a fat child, an obese child, I am disgusted. Never with the child, though. Always with the parent. Now, there's a reason. Let's get into why parents allow their children to be fat. There's 2 reasons why parents allow their children to be fat. And I'm going to get some pushback on the second one. But the first one is they don't care. They don't care. They want their kids in front of the TV, in front of the video games. They feed them whatever they want. That's one reason why parents allow their kids to be fat. The second reason, I'm going to get some pushback on. And there's only 2. Second reason is they don't care. It is the only reason your child is fat. I don't like saying no to him. You don't care to say no to him. I guarantee you, if your child wanted to walk out the window, you'd find the motivation to say no. If they insisted, you would say no. You can't jump out the window. If they started crying and kicking and screaming, at no point would there be a threshold as a parent that you would allow your child to jump out the window. But for some reason, the slow death is okay. The quick one, no. But the slow one's okay. My oldest son went to camp for the first time outside of the jungle gym camp this year. And I asked him, my wife and I, our kids are homeschooled, so we know our kids are the weird homeschool kids. Right, boys? But we were dying to know, what was his experience like? I did not expect his response to be, all the kids are really fat. None of the kids are really interested in exercise. I didn't expect that. I didn't ask, were the kids fat? I asked, did you have any friends? Did you meet any friends? Did you meet any, was there any girls? I'm asking the normal parental things. But his response is, all the kids are out of shape. And then I realized that to him, that was the biggest contrast that he was aware of. Because that's not how we raise them. Now let's get to what a parent's supposed to do. If you are a parent with a child that is overweight, understand, weakness to me is not a position on the ladder. Weakness to me is a refusal to climb. So, now obviously this is a very, very biased bunch of parents here. You guys have invested in having your children in a program like the Jungle Gym. You guys are head and shoulders above the majority of parents in this country right now. My hype man, sorry. But one of the things you'll notice is that all these people that are watching on YouTube, and you'll see this because I'm going to put this up, you'll see a whole bunch of people start cursing me. Start looking to insult me in some way. Those people don't matter. I don't give them access. But they're still going to hear the message. But when it comes to getting your kids in shape, I don't care if they're fat right now. All you parents of fat kids watching, you don't need me to tell you your kid's fat. You know your kid's fat. It doesn't matter if they're fat right now. It's what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do after that? You see, one of the problems with parents when they're trying to avoid the stigma of having a fat child, or a lot of times you have parents that do just enough that they can say, well, I'm trying my best. Little Johnny's got a thyroid problem. You think? I agree, little Johnny's a thyroid problem. He has a mom problem, a dad problem, a Twinkie problem, a soda problem, a McDonald's problem. Little Johnny's got all sorts of problems that his parents allow him to have. But the thing is, they'll put a kid in soccer, they'll put him in baseball, they'll put him in football, and all those things are better than nothing. But you can be fat and be successful in football. You can be fat and be successful in baseball. You can be fat and be successful at soccer if you're the goalie, right? You get fat enough, you ain't even got to move. It's not about doing the one thing. It's not about, we're going to go to the nutritionist. All those things help. But understand, the lifestyle that you are installing in your children is the only thing that's going to take. It's the only thing that's going to stay with them. It's not what you just do today. It's what you do every day. Every day. Now listen, I know you have single parents out there, majority of which are single moms, who are working. Kids got all this homework. Kids got this, that. Are you telling me you don't have 10 minutes to force your child to go on a bike ride with you, to take a walk around the block with you, to sit there in the living room and do a 10-minute workout? Yeah, but I'm not a personal trainer. You know damn well you got YouTube. All these kids have video games. All these kids have cell phones. My kids don't have a cell phone. I firmly believe that children don't need a cell phone. I just want to know where he is. He's wherever he's supposed to be, wherever you put him. If you don't know he's there, then you have a bigger problem, a bigger issue. Kid goes to school, he should be doing schoolwork, he should be learning, he should be playing. Right now, the amount of physical activity that goes on in the school year is the lowest it's ever been in the history of the public school system in the United States. There's some kids, all it takes is a letter from their doctor, and doctors don't care about handing out this letter because they get the bill for a session, they get the bill for a visit. All it takes is that one letter and they don't have to do PE. They opt out. I have a medical excuse. I don't have to walk in a circle for 45 minutes because of whatever reason that they're claiming and the doctor wrote on the piece of paper. And everybody's so worried about getting sued and or just doesn't give a damn that nobody calls them on it. Parents are the ones that need to set this lifestyle. They need to set this ritual. It's not about getting them to the point where they're doing this big, tremendous thing every once in a while. It's about every day doing a little thing. Every day doing a little thing. Heidi, come here. My 3 sons, you know, they're the ones with the big ears. Now, Heidi, how old are you?
12.
Speak up.
12.
Every day you have exercises, right?
Yes.
Let's go over the list of things you have to do.
Pull-ups,
How many?
20. Chin-ups, 10. 15 L sit-ups times 4.
4 sets, right?
Yeah. 3 sets of 10 dips, which is 30. We also have L dips, which is where your feet stick out almost like you're sitting. We also have 30 of that.
Right, what else?
We have 60 squats. We have a bunch of kicks we have to do on a dummy we have at home. A bunch of drills we do with a stick, or sayakali. We also have push-ups, burpees, bridge push-ups. We practice handstands as well.
That's enough. Close it down.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
They don't have a choice. They don't always want to do it. If we sit there and watch them and make sure they do every single thing, it takes them 20 minutes, the 3 of them. We usually let them do it at their own pace, so it usually takes about 4 hours. But they do it. It's non-negotiable. Parents who tell me, who sit there with a fat kid and tell me, yeah, but I don't have the money to eat healthy. Well, that's actually good. Don't feed him for a couple of days. Feed him a good meal twice a week, because my man's got reserves. Every time your child is saying he's hungry, if you're a parent, think of it as he's probably bored. Unless you could say, I just put him through some stuff, or he just went through some stuff, and now he's hungry as a result of it. Unless you can connect that. You're hungry, go do some squats. You're hungry, go do this. I don't know if I mentioned before, I'm doing dog training now. Right? I started training my dog, learning how to be a dog trainer. And it is miraculous, the comparisons and the parallels between training a dog and raising a child. But one of the things that I find very curious about having a healthy dog, right? Not a tough dog, angry dog, skinny dog, fat. A healthy dog is you feed him according to his activity level. If he didn't do nothing, he don't need nothing. If he did a bunch, he needs a bunch. One of the trainers I'm working with, he says, listen, if he's going to, be very low activity that day and you're not training him because whatever you got going on, he'll fast that day. Can you imagine if parents were going around, if there was some sort of movement where once a week they fasted their kids 24 hours? The uproar we would have from all of these weak, pathetic politicians whose job it is to manipulate you into thinking you're a victim so they can stay in power. Imagine if we took control of ourselves. It's not a curiosity that just about every major religion in the history of man has some sort of fasting ritual. Every single one, not just the Muslims. But here we are, little Johnny needs the Happy Meal. They need the ice cream. They need this. How many times I look at Instagram, my friends, my Instagram friends, Facebook friends, and I say friends, that old thing, with their fat kids. It's my fat kid's first day of school. That might as well be the caption. Look at my kid, did absolutely not a damn thing for 3 months, but I bought him a new outfit, and he's happy because he's going to school to not do gym. I'll finish with this. I got a message just yesterday, and I showed Angel this message. And this is, sort of like a credibility thing. I wanted somebody to see it before I talked about it. Guy sent me a message. I'm not going to say his name. In May, his son, 10 years old, weighed 205 pounds. 10 years old, weighed 205 pounds. Son wanted to play football. The cutoff for football in his age group was 175 pounds. He took 3 months and he lost 30 pounds, weighed in, signed up for football, 174.6. 30 pounds he lost. He took the summer to do it with his son. And the reason he was sending me this message, he said, I heard you talk about this topic, because this isn't the first time I mentioned this. And I have never met this guy. He follows my podcast. He follows my YouTube channel. He said, I heard what you were saying, and your words inspired my son and I to take the summer to get him in shape. And because of that, he's playing football. This is a kid that weighed 205 pounds. He's 10 years old. He still weighs 174. And my reply to him, and you saw it, weakness is not what rung on your ladder you're on. It's whether or not you're climbing. Kids being overweight, they don't sleep as much. They're unhealthy. They're diabetic. They're lethargic. They don't get along. They're not social. Their aptitude, this has been measured, their cognitive abilities and aptitude is depleted when their nutrition is suffering, when they're obese and have all of these hormonal imbalances. Fat kids is unacceptable. You want to create a strong generation? This generation right now, they're saying, is the first generation and who knows when that is actually going to live shorter than their parents. We've managed to mess that up as a society. But not us. Not us. Everybody wants to save the world, but for some reason they don't want to start in their own home. You don't get a lot of attention when you're a parent doing the right thing. But that isn't why you became a parent. Thank you guys for listening.